Hi, I'm Chris Masters, a Senior Pre-Sales Consultant with AVEVA. In this video, I'll provide an overview of the item search capability in AVEVA Production Management. This functionality is available within the solution configuration environment, AVEVA Production Management Studio. This feature was introduced in Ampla 7.3, which was released around mid-2019, Ampla being the application's former name. So what problem are we trying to address with this feature? So previously, when working with the solution configuration and you needed to check your work or locate items to update, you would have to navigate around the solution reviewing items one at a time. Apart from this being very time consuming, it was easy to miss items and therefore leave configuration errors in the solution. So now we have the item search capability. We can easily target specific properties or items types and check the config and even make updates much faster than before. So let's take a look at how it works on my demo solution. Here we have some configuration that we can have a look at here. I have a fictitious site and a couple of processing areas under this site. If I select, say, Mine North as a location here, right-click it, I have this show in item search option available, so I'll select that. Now that opens up the item search window, and the first thing you'll notice here is that it's a grid format, and we have this show descendants checkbox up here. Now that checkbox essentially says, give me the Mine North node and everything below that in the hierarchy, so we'll leave that turned on. Now, if we wanted to target some configuration, and in this instance, I'll target some metrics config, the first thing we want to do is sort of hone in on the item or the property that we're looking to either find or make some changes to. So in here, we have a crushing section and we have a metrics point. Now, if I move in a little bit closer here and have a look at some KPIs, I want to actually check the resolvers set up in my KPIs throughout the crushing area as well as the new area that I've created down here in processing. So if I look at that particular resolver there and then I go and look at the properties, I can see that I have an item here or a parameter property, called KPI item. Now that's the item that I want to check more specifically, KPI item, so just remember that one. So if we let that go now, what we can do is we can then add a field in here or a column, and we'll go and have a look for that KPI item. Oh, there it is there. We'll add that column of data. And now if we minimize these columns here, KPI item. Okay, so now what we can do is we can say select the metrics item, say run that show in search again. Now it's narrowed down the search to only what's within that metrics reporting point itself. And then I can also then do a filter on the type here. So I'll change that and try to limit that to a resolver only. So I'll add that. And now what we should have is a much more reduced list. A little bit of squeezing up here. Okay, so now what we can see here is that we have all of these KPI item or these resolvers returned in a nice, easy to look at list. So we can run our eye down and see that they're all being resolved to KPIs within the crushing reporting point, which is ideal. Okay, so now if I go down to the same or equivalent reporting point, so I've copied and pasted this down here, and I know that there should be some errors contained in here because I haven't fixed up some of those resolvers. So if I run that show in search again, now straight away it looks the same because all of the same resolvers exist because I copied and pasted this here. But the first thing that I can see is that of all the different KPIs that are located within this reporting point, and there's quite a number of them, only some of them actually have a correct KPI item reference to the processing reporting point, which is the other KPIs within here, and some of them are still resolving to the crushing item up above. So these are incorrect. They need to be fixed up. So In here now, what I can do is I can select that item there and say Show in Explorer. It'll then take me to the properties for that particular resolver, and then I can easily jump in here and change this across to processing. And I'll just put that dot back. Okay, so that's now been corrected. I can save that config now, and that's been updated. Okay, so now what you'll see is I run that search again. It's just corrected that from crushing to processing. Now that still leaves a long list of items to resolve there, or to correct there. But again, it's much easier to identify items that need to be fixed up in this config than if I was to click through items and open all of these items and fix them up one at a time with the properties open. It's a very, sorry, I'll just open that and pin that. It's a very time-consuming way to have to go through and check all of these properties one at a time by clicking through. So that's the whole point of this tool, is that we no longer have to do that. Okay, so if I look at updating a number of these particular resolvers, I can actually select a block of them here, and then the properties that it shows me for those resolvers are common to all of those resolvers over here. Now, it even provides that KPI item path, but see how it's blank? That's because all of the existing items I've selected all have different values in there. So it's not going to show me the current value because they're all there's a number of different values. So I wouldn't touch that item there because I don't want to set them to be all the same. They all have their own unique path at the end of those paths. It's only a part of that I'd want to fix. But the trick with selecting many of these resolvers is that I can alter common properties. So even if I wanted to say an error value, instead of bringing back not a number, I might put something like 999 because it's easy to see, and then I can save that. Now, when I look at each individual resolver's properties, that value has been populated through each of them in the config. So again, it's a great way to update things like units of measure for fields, or even summary types and other common properties that exist on all sorts of different data fields and things like that, or even data types for many calculated variables and things like that. So the trick here is that this tool is allowing you to hone in on particular properties, whether it's more specifically to a reporting point or higher up in the solution. You've got the ability to add these fields of data, or these columns of data again, to go digging through there. And then once you've added those different columns that you need, you can do some sorting with the types of the items that you have, and make those changes or find those changes. You can also select a block of this and copy that out and take that straight across into Excel or some other means to share that config with another user. So that's a very, very brief overview of what can be done with the item search. If you're looking for more detail, you definitely want to jump into the AVEVA production management help system. All of the features of this particular capability, and it goes into much more detail of how everything works. I hope that video was useful. Thanks for watching.